Hello and welcome back to our channel. It is time for our pick a card. Now normally my cohort Raven would be here helping me film, but we just had Dorian come through a couple days ago and she's dealing with some house repair work that she needs to do. And our schedules between work and cleanup have just been kind of crazy. So we're hoping to get on track this week. So for today, I am going to do this one by myself. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and shuffle up the cards. Now the topic of today's question is, will my mother-in-law and I ever get along? A lot of folks out there do have problems with their mother-in-laws, and it can be really hard for your partner who feels maybe caught in the middle. So let's take a look at, will you and your mother-in-law ever get along? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these cards into 3 piles. Pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So go ahead and take a moment and pick your pile and we'll begin. Will my relationship with my mother-in-law ever improve? All right, so let's take a look at pile 1. Okay, the cards we picked for this pile is, we're looking at these 3 folks here. Now you are looking at them in the reverse position versus what I'm seeing. So I'm going to go ahead and lay them back down in the position that they were laid in. And as for, will you ever be able to get along with your mother-in-law? In this layout, it seems as though your mother-in-law feels separated from her child, and that separation is causing her to have some anxiety and animosity and resentment towards you. One of the ways that you can work on improving your relationship with your mother-in-law is to actually take that step and reach out to her and try to bring her in and make her feel like basically that she hasn't been replaced, because that's kind of like her feeling right now. So that is something that you can do to put out that olive branch, if you will, to try and mend the relationship that you have going with your mother-in-law right now. It's simply a feeling of alienation from her child, and that she feels like on some level that you've taken her child away from her. So if you picked pile 1, yes, you the reason why your mother-in-law dislikes you or is aggressive towards you is that she is feeling alienated from her child, and I know her child is grown, but sometimes parents have a really hard time, especially mothers, letting go of their child and understanding that their child has a life of their own. So you can help to mend that bridge by being more inclusive with her, and that's going to give her more of a feeling of security. So that's the answer if you picked pile 1. So let's go ahead and take a look at pile 2. Why is my mother-in-law and I not getting along? So 1, 2, and 3. Okie dokie. Well, unfortunately, with these 3 cards here, we're looking at a situation where, unfortunately, your mother-in-law doesn't much care for you, and she doesn't like the relationship. The part of that is also that the 2 of you are very similar in personalities, And those personalities are clashing in a big way. Your mother-in-law is going to continue to have issues with you, and there's probably not a whole lot that you can do to fix the relationship as it is, because she's not willing to give an inch. Her stubbornness runs quite deep, and she likes to be in charge, and she feels like, it seems as though she feels like that maybe you're not good enough for her child. And honestly, the situation just is not positive. So one of the only things that you can do to try and work within the scope of this relationship is to create boundaries and stick to those boundaries, because it doesn't look as if your mother-in-law is actually going to bend or back off and allow you and your partner to grow and evolve in this relationship. This is just not the type of person that she is. So, it's not the best of news. Excuse me. But like I said, the best thing for you to do in this situation is simply to create boundaries and stick to those boundaries. And honestly, don't let her use emotional manipulation or all of these other things to make you feel bad, to guilt trip you, or whatever it is that she's trying to do. You need to stand strong in that, because honestly, there's not really a whole lot that you can do in this situation. All right. So let's take a look at pile 3. Okay. This is another tough one. In this situation, you're looking at a person who is literally trying to force your partner to make a choice between her and you. She does not like the change. She does not like the relationship. She does not like that you've come in, and maybe she feels like she's been upsurged. And she's really put your partner in a position where he or she is having to choose between you and he or she's mother. And that's not a fair thing to do. And there's really nothing that you can do, because your partner at this point is the one that has to step up and step in and say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm not going to be forced to choose between you and the person that I love. And he or she has to be the one to step up and make that very clear to his or her mother that this is not acceptable behavior. Your mother-in-law just doesn't like you. She's not feeling that you're good enough for her child. She feels like that her child made a bad choice in partners, and generally she's just being really, well, honestly, kind of bitchy for no reason, because you haven't done anything to her that would cause her to react that way. It's just that that's who she is and how she is going to act. And honestly, there's nothing that you can do. It's up to your partner to talk to their mother and say, you know what, this is not cool. You cannot do this anymore. So 1, 2, or 3, the news wasn't really that great, but you can, if you pick pile 1, you can definitely try to remedy the situation. 2 is kind of iffy. 3, it's going to be up to your partner. So that was today's pick a card. I hope that you will give us a thumbs up or hit that subscribe button. Our goal is to hit 100 subscribers by Christmas so that we can actually start doing live readings. So anything y'all can do to help us out and reach our goal, that would be great. This has been Deja with Twisted Sisters Mojo, and I will catch y'all on the next pick a card.